نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم باب الإنصات للعلماء عن جرير رضي الله تعالى عنه أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال له في حجة الوداع استنصت الناس فقال لا ترجعوا بعد كفارا يضرب بعضكم رقاب بعض ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي يا ربي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. My respected elders, young brothers, friends, mothers and sisters, with the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we offered Salatul Isha with congregation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it. And now He is giving us another tawfiq to sit in the circle of hadith from Sahih al-Bhukhari. I just read a very brief hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam narrated by Jarir bin Abdullah al-Bajali radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. If you remember in the past lessons, sessions, I mentioned once regarding Jarir bin Abdullah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He was such a Sahabi of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that he had a quality of showing well-wishing to others, loyalty to others. I mean, all the Sahaba Kiram, they were men of qualities. They were all just. They were all pious. And they were all men of paradise. But we find some companions, within the prophets also, some qualities, they were found in some Sahaba Ikram more than the others. And their qualities were just touching the peak. This Sahabi, Jarir bin Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu, every Sahabi was a well-wisher for everyone, was loyal to everyone. But this quality of showing well-wishing to others was to this extent that whenever he bought something from someone and he liked it, he would ask the seller to increase the price. Can we do this today? No. When we go to anyone, any shopkeeper, any store, well, I'm not talking about English stores, the prices are fixed there. I'm talking about the Asian stores, Muslim stores, prices are not fixed. We do a bargain, we deal with them. So we try to knock down the price. But this Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what are the qualities they had? Whenever he would like something and he bought it, he would say, no, this price you are asking me for is too less. It's too less. It costs more than this. And I mentioned this before, if you remember. He once asked his slave to go and buy a horse for him. And he came back, the slave, with the horse, and he asked him how much you bought it for. He said, I have bought it for 300 darahims. He looked at the horse. He said, no, this horse is a very expensive, to me, it's a very expensive horse. This horse doesn't cost 300 dirhams. It's more than this. He took the horse back to the seller. He said, you sold this horse to my slave, and the price you asked for is very less. It's very less. He said, no, this is the price for it. He said, no, this horse does not cost 300 dirhams. It costs more than this. He said, okay, then if you're insisting, it pays another 100 dirham. He said, no, 400 dirham you're saying? It costs more than this. He said, if you are insisting more, then I'll increase another 100. He said, are you saying 500? He said, no. Until when he reached to 800 dirham, then the seller said, no, he wanted to go even above this, beyond this, and he wanted to pay more than 800 dirham. The seller had to say, no, I'm not going to charge you more than this. I'm not going to ask you to pay me more than this. I will only take 800 dirham. This was this Sahabi Jarir bin Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. And they say he was known as the Yusuf of this ummah. He was so handsome, so pretty, so beautiful, and he was well known for being the Yusuf. The Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him this beauty. So he was known, the Yusuf of this ummah, meaning so beautiful, so pretty, so handsome this man is. And he was a chief of his tribe. Now this hadith, our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his last Hajj, the farewell Hajj, and how many people were gathered there? How many Sahaba Ikram? More than 100,000. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to Jarir bin Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala anhu to tell the people to remain silent. And he was a very tall man. Jarir bin Abdullah radiallahu ta'ala was a very tall man. And in this hadith, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to him, tell the people to be silent. And then Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to the Sahaba Ikram, La tarji'u ba'di kuffaran. He said, don't turn to kufr after my death. Don't become kafir. Don't become kafir that you are striking on one another, killing one another. Don't kill one another. Unfortunately, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam advised his followers, his ummah, to not to kill anyone. But unfortunately, this is very common within this ummah. You pick up any newspaper, you read about any country, you will find killing happening here and there. Killing happening here and there. Our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in one hadith regarding killing, he says, on the day of judgment, whosoever helped another person to kill a believer, a Muslim, and he just assisted by one word, he spotted the killer by one word, on the day of judgment, he will be presented in the court of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a state that it will be written in between his two eyes, A'isun min rahmatillah, he is hopeless from the rahmat of Allah. He has been deprived. He cannot expect the rahmat of Allah today. It will be written on his forehead. And in another hadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, in the morning when the shaitan, the Iblis, when he sent his allies to go and mislead the people, he says to them, whosoever from amongst you will disgrace and humiliate a believer, I will place a crown on his head. In the evening when they come back and give the full report to him, one comes forward and he says, I have today made a believer give divorce to his wife. I whispered in his mind to the extent that he eventually divorced his wife. Iblis says to him, you have not done anything, because soon he will get he'll get married. He'll have another woman. Another one comes in and he says, I've made the son or the daughter or the sons or the daughters, I made them disobey their parents. He says, you haven't done nothing. Very soon there is a possibility this son or daughter or sons or daughters, they will become again obedient to their parents. They will realize, they will regret, they will repent, and again they will start being good to their parents. You haven't done anything. A third one comes in and said, I today made a believer do shirk. He said, Anta, yes, you the one, you have done something. The fourth one comes in. He says, I've made a believer kill another believer. He says, Anta, yes, you are the one. I will place the crown on his head. And then he places crown on his head. Killing. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in another hadith, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, there are 7 things you should avoid and stay away from. One of them, he said, ascribing partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, committing shirk. Committing shirk. How much shirk is being committed within the Muslims? How much shirk is being committed? And yet, the Muslims who are committing shirk, they do not realize what they're doing. Maybe in this country you may not find, but if you go back to our own countries, you will find how much shirk is being committed. People going to the graves of the pious, God-fearing people, and how much shirk they're doing sajda aliyatu billah on the graves, on the shrines of the pious and righteous people. And yet, still they claim, they call themselves Muslims. If you today talk to any believer, a layman, just a common believer, you will come to know how weak his aqidah is with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. There is a need that we correct our beliefs, our aqaid. Because on the day of judgment, not only, maybe this is in our minds, on the day of judgment we will be answerable for our actions. Not only our actions, but our beliefs as well. Allah Almighty will ask us about our beliefs, what belief, what faith we had regarding Allah, what belief we adopted regarding His prophets, what belief we adopted regarding the angels, what belief we adopted regarding His pious servants. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam is saying shirk. And then he said shirk. And then Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said killing unjustly someone, eating, consuming interest, eating or consuming the wealth of an orphan, slandering a believing woman, and turning away and running away, fleeing from the battlefield when the battle is taking place between the believers and the enemies of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if a warrior, he turns his back and runs away from there, this sin is a major sin in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in this hadith, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he advised the ummah not to kill anyone. And he said, do not turn kafir, do not become kafir after me. Now the ulama, they speak here, that they explain, what does it mean, do not become kafir? He says, meaning after me, do not do action that will take you into kufr. Meaning, do not do something that will drag you into the boundary of kufr. And we look around, killing is so common in the Muslim communities. If you read the news, you will find just in Pakistan. I'm just talking about Pakistan. It's happening everywhere. Upon very minor things, people kill. Upon minor things, and I mean, they have become so hard-hearted now that just in Pakistan, a killing happened. The killers, they killed the person. After killing him, they started dancing on his body, rejoicing. Killing and then rejoicing, dancing. Just to imagine how much the wrath of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala descends upon these people. Killing and then rejoicing and then dancing. These are the things that are happening. So Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is one thing we learned from today's lesson, is that the killing is a major sin in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Killing is a major sin in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And second thing we will learn from today's lesson is that insatu lil ulama. Imam Bhukhari rahmatullah alayhi from this hadith is trying to explain it is wajib upon the audience to remain silent when the alim is giving a talk. When the khutbah is being delivered, khutbah of the nikah when is being delivered, those who are sitting, it becomes wajib for them to listen to the khutbah. When the imam is delivering a khutbah on Friday, it becomes wajib upon the audience to remain silent and listen to the khutbah. On one occasion, Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he said to another man, today you've read Jummah, your Jummah has not been done, not valid. He said it in the presence of Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said to Hazrat Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas, "O Sa'd, on what basis you said this to him?" He said, "O Prophet of Allah, while you were giving a khutbah, he was talking. While you were giving khutbah, he was talking." Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam commented after this, saying, "Sadaqa Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas." Sa'd bin Abi Waqqas has spoke the truth. He's right. On another occasion, Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu ta'ala anhu comes to masjid while the khutbah is being delivered by Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he sat next to Ubay bin Ka'b radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and he said to him something. He asked him. Ubay bin Ka'b ignored him and didn't say anything. When everything was done, Jummah prayer was done, Abdullah bin Masud radiallahu ta'ala anhu said to Hazrat Ubay bin Ka'b, "O Ubay bin Ka'b, how come you ignored me when I asked you something while the khutbah was being given?" He said, "Now listen, Ubay bin Ka'b," he said, "your Jummah has not been done today. It's not been valid." He became very upset, Abdullah bin Masud. He straight away went to Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's a Prophet of Allah. Today a strange thing happened. He said, "What happened?" He said, "I came to masjid, you were giving khutbah. I sat next to Ubay bin Ka'b and I asked him something. He ignored me, and after you finished the prayer, I asked him. He said to me, your Jummah is not done." Ubay bin Ka'b radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Rasulullah called him. He said, "Did you say this?" I said, "O Prophet of Allah, yes." Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said to Hazrat Abdullah bin Masud, "If this had happened, then Ubay bin Ka'b was right, because you were talking." Today, the young ones, we see this, we witness this every Friday, having a mobile in the hands, playing on the mobiles while the khutbah is being delivered. Today a mentality of a believer is, he is free wherever he is. Whether he comes to masjid, he is free. He is free to do whatever he wants to do and whatever he wants to say. Nobody is allowed to tell him off. Remember, we are not free. When you come and step in the masjid, you are not free then. You're not a free man then. You are in the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now you have to remain silent in the masjid. And particularly when the khutbah on the Friday is being delivered by the imam, then it becomes a wajib upon the audience and the listeners to remain silent and not to talk. Even if someone is talking, another person said to him, be quiet, don't talk, it's Jummah, khutbah is being given. The one who said be quiet, he has done wrong. Rasulullah on one occasion, he said to a sahabi, who said to another sahabi, don't talk, his khutbah is being delivered. Rasulullah said, faqad laghawt, you have done wrong. Just imagine you telling someone who's talking not to talk, your telling is wrong. So what about those who are talking? So my respected elders and young brothers, whenever the imam, wherever you are sitting in the circle of ulama, and when they are delivering talk, whether it's Friday or not Friday, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, لا ترفعوا أصواتكم فوق صوت النبي. Do not raise your voices above the voice of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When our Prophet was alive, it was a wajib upon the Sahaba Ikram when Rasulullah was talking that they remain silent. Now, after him, when the ahadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam being explained in any majlis, it becomes a wajib upon those people or the audience who are sitting there to remain silent and listen to the ahadith of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept this majlis and make it means of our forgiveness. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتوب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.